with a sword in front of his house. But before he died, he was given a manuscript by Putin's former boss in the KGB. And he wanted it translated into Japanese, to let people know what happened, in Russia, how they freed them from these Illuminati. And although the book hasn't been translated yet into Japanese, his daughter Tanya, conveyed the gist of it to me. And so I know that Putin is not an Illuminati agent. And we will be making contact with Putin, later, and maybe he'll hear through this that he has a 6 million man secret army that was willing to ally itself with him to put an end to this madness.
Well, quite clearly, the Rothschilds and the Illuminati view Russia as the prize that got away, and they want it back. I think the ejection of the oligarchs that you've touched on, that I've touched on and described in great detail with guests on this program for a long time now, is one of the most important geopolitical, social, cultural, national issues of maybe of our times. I mean, this is a monumental change, what happened in Russia.
Yeah, I mean, they've been free for the first time since 1917.
And they remember who enslaved them and who ground the life out of them nearly for the better part of a century, and they don't like those people at all.
Yeah, and we're going to ally with them, And the other thing is that I believe the Japanese are also about to kick them out, and that'll be it. It'll be end for these people. I believe we're at the end game, and
that goes hand in hand with what you're saying about they're desperate.
Yes, but if these people end, I think literally it would be such a big change that it would be worth calling it the New Age. It really would, because humanity would suddenly have so much potential freed. These people, they're turning the bottom line. They suppress technology. They distort academics and science. They fund all the academics who publish their propaganda, and they ostracize those who don't. When I start reading in New Scientist magazine, which is an orthodox mainstream science magazine, about congressmen getting involved with trying to stop someone who's researching desktop fusion, you realize something is very wrong. It's like Galileo being called up in front of the, Inquisition. What these people are doing is not only criminal, it's stupid. They could be so much richer than they are now, and so much more powerful just by releasing all the human potential.
Well, what they're doing is they're essentially killing the goose that is laying the golden eggs for them. Your point is very well taken. Stand by, Ben. We'll take a break. Come right back in just a few minutes. Okay. We're back. Ben, anybody who studies the larger issues of pulling the big scam comes up with one of the most prominent potential scenarios being the ET card, the extraterrestrial invasion trump card, the fake ET invasion with some advanced technology. What do you know about, and also anyone I should hasten to add who studies the issue of ET visitation, honestly and objectively will come away with the conclusion that it's quite obvious we are being visited routinely and regularly by any number of different intelligent beings, races, species.
Well,
what is your take on it over there?
Okay, well, there was a guy who did research years ago, said that, the universe is 14 billion years old, and it should have been filled up with aliens long ago, right? Now, I'm assuming if I were an ET and I saw the planet Earth, I'd quarantine it.
Well, or bring tourists here for a laugh, yeah.
Yeah, but, it's too dangerous. And also, I think it's like a precious little ecosystem. They don't want to interfere, they want to let it sort of evolve according to its own wishes, but they'd love humanity to free themselves. Now, the Japanese Freemasons who invited me to join said that there was a planned, arrival of a fleet of UFOs. I wouldn't, which sounded to me crazy. I thought maybe the Rockefellers were going to, have been secretly manufacturing this fleet of UFOs to fake, an Armageddon and alien landing scenario. Mm-hmm. So I would assume if there are aliens out there watching us, they feel sorry for us. They're hoping they're cheering for us that we can get rid of these bastards, and then they'll think that maybe the Earth is safe enough they can end the quarantine. Mm-hmm. That would be my take on it. But I'm not an expert in this field.
I understand. It's just a potential manipulating device that has been talked about for years.
I interviewed Bobby Inman, the former head of the NSA, came through Tokyo, right? Yep. And I asked him about the Rockefellers and the secret societies, right? And right away he said, "Are you a UFO guy?" Right? And
he said that was one of the first things he said to you?
Yeah, so I wasn't asking about you. I was asking about the Rockefellers and secret societies and the NSA and their relationship. And he says, "Are you a UFO guy?" So I think what they try to do is they try to put some really wacky ideas and tack them on together with the real stuff to make people not believe it. So, this stuff about reptilian people that David Icke's pushing, well, I think that's disinformation made to turn most people off from this whole, idea that there's a vast conspiracy. So I'm trying to stay away from that and just stick to the planet Earth and what I can see in front of me and prove. And when the aliens come, if they come, then it'll be known to everybody.
It is also known that the Chinese have an extraordinary number of people who are actively investigating this particular issue. I think one organization had over 50,000 members. So they take it very seriously over there.
Yeah, here in Japan too. I mean, a lot of the people who there's a place near Mount Fuji where they go to watch UFOs and they can see a lot of them. There's a lot of weird movies. I think there's a military secret testing ground there too, where they can see some of the. Because you got to remember, they also use the UFO story to hide the all
kinds of technology. Perfect screen. Yeah.
Sure, the stealth planes, they were flying them for 20 years before they announced the public. Who knows what they got? So. You got to be very careful with this stuff, and I try to make sure that I talk in a way within the parameters of people in the mainstream.
You have to. If you're going to be a smart and effective journalist, you have to. What else did Inman say? He, of course, of the SAIC fame. That's CIA's backwards. CIAS, right. SAIC. That's the corporation he's the head of.
So interesting. Yeah. Well, he said a lot of stuff. The one thing, he was a member of the Trilateral Commission, which comes up in a lot of these conspiracy theories.
Sure.
And I've talked to members of the Trilateral Commission, and basically what happened was Bilderberg was racist, right? And so Rockefeller said, well, we need something where we can talk to the Japanese in secret, too. And the Bilderberg don't want them in their club, which is a white man's club, right? So they set up this other one, but then the Japanese who are members tell me that they wouldn't even listen to their advice anyway. So, it's kind of dysfunctional, the Trilateral Commission.
Mm-hmm.
And Inman himself, he said, yeah, I was a member, but it was pointless, it was powerless, so I quit.
Really?
Yeah, but he's also a member of Bohemian Grove, and he says, yeah, I go there every year, and I give him my big spiel, and we go there to have fun, and, what's the harm? I mean, that's the sort of story he was giving me.
Mm-hmm.
But, of course, he won't tell me what he says in his spiel, but...
or talk about the owl, or the cremation of care, or any of the other rituals.
But he revealed, their whole scenario of bioterrorism and starvation. And
what did he say about bioterrorism? Did he say it was a viable thing and they were worried about it, or
it was something they're worried about in the future, together with starvation? So that to me,
hell, they can starve people right now if they want to.
Well, Africa's got this new wheat blight that's destroying all their.
Listen, Monsanto and its Terminator seeds will make the world its instant prisoner, and they're pushing it through now. You have to buy the Monsanto seed every year because your crops will no longer seed themselves.
Right.
And pretty clever control. And then you got genetic modification of crops, which we know now is catastrophic for the health of laboratory rats and, in all likelihood, people. The evidence continues to pile up about that the Western diet is a fatal diet over time for anybody who engages in it, or virtually anyone. We know about all these things. What about chemtrails? And the spraying in the sky. We have not seen any photographs ever of chemtrails from China, from Russia, or from India.
There's none in Japan either. They won't let them.
All right.
So
you know about that, and you know about that, and you just said the Japanese won't allow it.
That's right.
Okay.
So it's they don't have that problem out here, but they do have a lot of hormones pumped into their food supply, making men impotent and
there's so many phytoestrogens in food and processed food now, and processed soy and all kinds of foods, which are causing all kinds of problems in humans and certainly in the amphibian world, as we know.
Yeah, you've heard the story about Orientals having small, whatchamacallit. Well, they put something in the makeup the woman wore here, which leads the children to be born, the male children, with small genitalia.
Really?
But they've been actually trying to emasculate these people, filling in their system with female hormones.
Well, it's said that they won't need the act of sex to procreate